Welcome everyone to the Merciful Metal channel. My name is Thomas and it has been a little while, hasn't it? I'm back with a video, a fun topic, which might seem familiar because it's a little twist on the topic that Metal Mickey started a little while ago. 90s death metal in 10 albums. So basically, I mean, everybody has probably seen the topic going around already, but the idea was that if aliens would come down to Earth and were asking information on 90s death metal, which 10 albums would you give them? I feel like I'm a little late to the party, and I feel like that topic has already we've seen it all. Like, I mean, if we would show if this was actually real and they were asking for like Swedish death metal, we all would give like Left Hand Path. Let's not lie about that. So as of lately, more and more people start to make videos, and everyone can show the same album. So it was kind of getting like showing more obscure stuff and kind of straying away from the actual topic. And like I said, I feel like I'm a little late to the party, so I'm giving my own twist to this topic. And if you haven't seen, like, it's probably in the title, what I will do is 80s thrash metal in 10 albums. And I will just start off right away with the first one, Rain and Blood. This is the pinnacle of thrash metal to me. Now in the original video, Mike had like a few topics. He went from, I will do the same, I have 10 albums, 10 different topics. He had only like 7 or something, but yeah, thrash metal, you can get a lot in thrash metal, and you will see that I have 10 different topics which I will go along by, and the first one is, Rain and Blood. So the first one would be like, if someone would ask for thrash metal, this would be the first album I would show, the first album to show talking about thrash metal. So yeah, Rain and Blood, 1986. We all know this one, no explanation needed. Just fucking relentless thrash metal. Next up, my pick would be, this one would be Bay Area thrash. That was my pick. And if I would show like a Bay Area album, it will be this one, Exodus, Bonded by Blood, 1985. This is an OG Music for Nations press. Very nice. I love this album. It's definitely a top 10 favorite thrash albums for me. This is the only one I need from Exodus. Really, I know it's kind of an unpopular opinion, but Paul Day Love is all I need in Exodus. And this album is just so fucking so good, so good. Bay Area thrash, there we go. Number 2. If you have a Bay Area thrash, you know what's going to come. The East Coast or New York thrash, and my pick would be Nuclear Assault, Game Over, because I feel like, you have stuff like Overkill and Anthrax and whatever from the East, and I would say they kind of lean more towards the like a little more hardcore sound to it, and like Nuclear Assault is a perfect example for that. This is Game Over from 1986, Under One Flag Press. I love me some Nuclear Assault, great band. They really have that like punky attitude or influence. You can hear that in the music. It's not like Crossover, which will come, but it really has that edge to it, and I feel like you hear that a little more with the New York bands, I guess, but yeah, East Coast thrash, Nuclear Assault. So next up, Teutonic Thrash. Yeah, Teutonic Thrash. This is my favorite. Again, another one of my all-time favorite thrash albums, and definitely my favorite Teutonic Thrash album. 1986. 1986 was a good year for thrash. I've showed 4 albums already, and 3 of them were from '86. Spoiler alert, the next one is as well. But yeah, Assassin, The Upcoming Terror. Fucking love this album. Teutonic Thrash, you have like Creator, Sudden Destruction. But I feel like this one really, this is an OG Steamhammer press. I feel like this one, like it's my favorite, but it also really captures that Teutonic Thrash sound, which kind of distinguishes them from the other stuff. They are really like raw. Listen to like Destruction, Creator, Exhumer, Necronomicon, Assassin, just that squeaky, screechy vocal style, the very raw, like it's just very raw, and this album is no exception. Love it. Absolutely fantastic Teutonic thrash metal. Love it. So I would say in thrash metal, those are like the major scenes. One very underrated scene is the UK thrash scene. They come nothing short from good thrash, but like overall they are like a little more underrated than like the German stuff or the Bay Area stuff. But still, they have some fantastic bands who released some fantastic records. So for UK thrash, Onslaught. I would have picked Centrix for Whose Advantage, because that's also a top 10 one for me. But that was released in 1990. This one is from '86, and yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, this album is fantastic of its own as well. The Force, Onslaught, love it. Metal Forces, Fight with the Beast are my favorites. Contracted Blood. Yeah, UK thrash is definitely not as big as some of the other scenes, but they have some. There is a lot of good stuff from the UK, and Onslaught is one of the like best names from that scene. Onslaught, The Force, just fantastic. But if you think like UK thrash is like underrated, one scene I hear never people really talk about when thrash is brought up, and that is the Eastern European scene. Fair enough, like it's quite obscure stuff, and it really started to bloom like late 80s, early 90s. They were a little late to the party, like with metal in general. But the Eastern European stuff, really, it's like even like harsher than the German stuff. It's like, if you hear it, you get it. Like, yeah, it's Eastern European stuff. They really have their own, like, quite distinctive, I wouldn't necessarily say, but you can hear it's an Eastern European band, and they have like a lot of fantastic thrash bands, and it's just so underrated. People never really talk about it, so I wanted to give one to the Eastern European thrash scene as well. And this is a Shah Beware. This one is from 1988 or 89, a Russian band. It's harsh, but you can hear a lot of influences from the other bands, from the other scenes in this music. You also have stuff like from like Hungary and Czechoslovakia, a lot of Russian stuff. If you know the Russian stuff, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, if you haven't heard like any Eastern European stuff, Shah is a nice one to start with, and definitely one of the bigger names in this scene. So Shah from Russia, Beware for Eastern European metal. Good stuff. Like, can expect not a lot of people have this stuff, so whatever, it's just a pick I would have. Next up, those were just like scenes and not really distinctive like subgenres, but thrash does have some of them, and this is my pick for like the technical or progressive kind of thrash. I was going to pick like Realm Endless War from '88, but I just gave this album a spin earlier this morning. This is my all-time favorite thrash album. It's technical thrash. This album was released in 1989. It's the second one from these guys. Also a New York band, but technical thrash. Toxic. Think of this. This is a Road Razor press. Road Razor. Yeah, Road Razor. This is my all-time favorite thrash album, definitely. And yeah, it's more technical. It's there's a lot of good stuff on here. Love, like the song Spontaneous is probably my favorite thrash song ever. It's my favorite thrash album ever, and it's definitely in the top 10 of my all-time favorite albums ever. Can't stress enough how much I love this album. So technical / progressive thrash. There we go. Toxic. Another one, which I already mentioned earlier, crossover thrash, which is a combination of hardcore punk and thrash metal. You know, these scenes were kind of mixing, and this was the product. Some bands played like half-half. Definitely, like, I don't explore this genre that much. I'm not a fan of it too much, but I can appreciate it. I mean, if you like thrash, you can appreciate crossover stuff. Speak English or Die. Just fucking, it's so ridiculous, this album. This one is from 1985, featuring members, you know, like Charlie Benante and Scott Ian from Anthrax, and Dan Lilker, also from Anthrax and Nuclear Assault. Crossover thrash, this album is just fucking ridiculous. Speak English or Die. Like, songs like that couldn't exist today. Kill Yourself. Let's see, where is it? I don't know, Milk is also fucking ridiculous. Fuck the Middle East, like, this album couldn't exist today. It's ridiculous, and I low-key love it. Just like the song fucking Kill Yourself, it gets a laugh out of me every time I hear it. Crossover thrash. This is an OG press. There we go. Crossover. Next up, I would say, like, there are some bands that play like thrash, but also have this kind of mixture with like speed metal, power metal. You know, an example would be like Metal Church. It's a little harder to like pinpoint what it exactly is, but you could call it thrash, like speed, thrash, power, that kind of stuff. And you know, I already mentioned like Metal Church, but my pick would be Agent Steel. Is it speed metal? Is it thrash metal? Is it power metal? Like, a little bit of all, but you could categorize it as thrash metal. So yeah, who doesn't love some Agent Steel? Unstoppable Force from 87. I just love fucking early Agent Steel. I know a lot of VC members aren't really fond of John Cyrus anymore. But nonetheless, Agent Steel is just fucking amazing, and it's in that weird like speed, thrash, power, whatever kind of ballpark, but it's still thrashy. So there we go, Agent Steel. And the last one is that thrash metal has less like it's quite an extreme genre compared to some of the other stuff that's out there. But even within thrash metal, you have like some bands are less extreme and some are more on the like heavier side. So I would call this one extreme thrash, you know, Demolition Hammer, Morbid Saint, whatever. Those are all 90s shit, by the way. My pick for the more extreme stuff would be Sadus. And this is Illusions / Chemical Exposure. This is the Chemical Exposure Press Road Razor OG. Would love to have the Illusions one, but I don't want to sell one of my kidneys. So yeah, it's like compared to like Anthrax or something, this is fucking way more extreme, while still both being thrash metal. So it's definitely on the more extreme side of the spectrum. Sadus is just a legendary band, fucking relentless thrash, just brutal, heavy, raw. Steve DiGiorgio is on this one. He's my favorite metal bassist, just fantastic. But this is just insane thrash metal. It's insane music. That was it. I would say for a bonus one, just throwing a bonus one in there, what you've been listening to in the background is Dioxin, First Among Equals from 1987, Canadian thrash. If there was an 11th, if I could throw in an 11th one, it would be Canadian thrash, so it's a little bonus one, there you go. Yeah, it was, I did a little twist on Metal Mickey's original topic on 90s death metal, 10 80s thrash albums. I hope you guys enjoyed this album, enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed these albums, sorry. Yeah, I showed some cool thrash in the background, and I've made a video after like over a month, so life is busy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what your favorite thrash album is, or like for these categories in the comments, whatever. Love to talk to you guys again. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you later. Bye.